delivers from his wife's, cat's, his own living room. Here's your host, Mike Biseglia.
That's right. This is Mike Delivers, episode number 96. And I'm your host, Mike Biseglia. And I'm coming to you from my wife's and my cat's kitchen in Bloomfield, New Jersey. You can find this podcast where most major pods are found, including Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, the Leon the Cat Podcast Network, and of course, Apple Pod. And if you're on Apple, give a 5-star rating. I know some people have said, I don't know how to do it. And here's my description. I don't either. It's kind of confusing and hard. I got to be honest. Giving the 5-star is not easy. But if you know how, do it. It's appreciated. Also, leave a comment. I'll sing that comment on a future episode. The Mike Delivers podcast would not be the same without the O'Brien Creative Group. They're the guys that made my incredible looking Mike Delivers Mike Delivers logo. I highly recommend these guys if you need somebody to make a logo for you, for your small business. Check them out. Their information is in my show notes, and you can't miss it, O'Brien Creative. Also, the Patreon page continues to grow, continues to blossom. Thank you for everybody. It's basically, I'll just be honest, it's a $4 page where you can support this podcast. So even if you don't give two flying fucks about the Mike Delivers podcast Patreon page, look at it like a donation to help this podcast grow, and you get bonus content, $4 a month. Head over to Mike Delivers on Patreon. Go to patreon.com, Patreon, or go to the application. So I guess just go to the application. That was redundant. On your phone, type in Patreon, and then go to Mike Delivers, and there it is. Seafood Month is over. And Jess, Seafood Month was very different than Taco Bell Month. Would you agree?
Yeah, it was way more diverse.
It was way more diverse. It felt like... Did it feel faster or slower than Taco Bell Month?
I think it felt... I don't know, Taco Bell Month was just like it was just a learning experience.
Yeah, it really was.
It was like I was just digesting so much information.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It felt like it was both forever and super fast.
Yeah, and nothing against Seafood Month. I loved you. You know, I loved you. We had sex many times. But there was something different about Taco Bell Month. I think, like you said, we'll just remember it forever. But Seafood Month is over, and today we ended it with your recommendation, which is a great one. P.F. Chang's sushi, the dragon roll, which is basically like a California roll with some seared ahi tuna on top. It's some like crunchy thingies. Crunchy fun, and that's what the roll was.
Well, I think,
which is seafood.
I mean, let's be honest. There's not a lot of chain restaurant and takeout place seafood. There really isn't.
No.
And especially there's not shrimp.
And we had gone to the well, and we had talked about a couple of different things. Friendly's clams, fried clams, which I had mentioned because it's a childhood staple of mine. A teenage year staple. And then the other thought was like getting some like shrimp at what's the place called? I'm blanking on the name. Panda Express. But there was like, we've had so much shrimp. And then the other thought was like a piece of salmon from an Applebee's or a TGI Fridays, which I think would have been entertaining.
Which I have to say is, in reality, the only time I've had seafood at a chain restaurant. And it's like when I'm in a hotel that's attached to an Applebee's. Right. I mean, this is not a current situation, but it has happened for sure. Like, I've definitely done, like, Applebee's Ruby Tuesdays, even Outback, like, get the salmon meal or whatever. But I think it's way limited, and maybe for good reason.
You say limited for good reason, so let's divulge into that for a second. What do you mean?
Well, I typically almost always get seafood when we eat out. Like, normally. Yeah. And I just think the quality is not there. And I don't know if the quality is not there because the demand isn't there.
Bingo.
So it's like they get like some shitty frozen salmon and do what they can to it, but they're not getting, aside from those bang bang shrimp, which I thought were very good, but that's a seafood restaurant. Right. Anybody who just has seafood on the menu, and when we were looking at some places today, it was even very rare that it had seafood as a section. Sometimes it would be like chicken and seafood.
Right. Like I think it was TGI Fridays was chicken, seafood, and pasta.
And that's like
it was like steaks. I don't remember. There was 3 categories: steaks, something else, and then that. It was lumped together.
And I think that I especially in like current times, you're like, okay, how fresh is this? Like if it's not in demand, do they even really give a shit about this?
No, they just have to put it on because there's a small percentage of the people that are into it. But I think you're right. I think the demand of people that are going to TGI Fridays, Ruby Tuesdays, Outback Steakhouse, even, which is probably a little bit better. I think that the demand is low. So why put in the effort to make the menu fantastic when you don't have to? And then, like we've tried with all these places, just do it fried and you can kind of get away with shit.
I'm always surprised, but it still happens, that when you meet an adult who's like, ew, seafood. Do you ever meet somebody like that?
I don't think I've met an adult that said that. No, not recently. Who says that?
My manager's like that. But he has like a child's palate. I mean, truly. Like, he's like we'll go out to a business lunch and he's like a chicken fingers and fries kind of guy.
What is it about seafood that's
probably
appalling?
has never had it. Like, and then I have a couple of friends.
Or someone that's had it and doesn't like it.
Well, I mean, he does live in St. Louis. So, I don't know if they're, like, crushing the ahi tuna game out there, you know?
Fair enough.
And I have a couple of friends who are like that, too. I mean, all on the, on the pickier side for the most part. But I think that that's a real oversight because... So, like, that's something that I brought up that I don't love is, like, fatty steak. But I eat red meat that is not fatty, ground beef, sausage, whatever. I think it's so... reductive to like see, like I don't like all seafood because shrimp does not taste like salmon, does not taste like ahi tuna.
No, it's a broad does
not taste like a clam belly.
You're painting a broad brush, as the cliche goes.
Yes.
To say you don't like seafood because there's so many types of seafood.
It's almost like saying you don't like meat.
Right. I mean, it's okay to say you like some meats and not others. I personally like every meat, and I like every seafood. But then again, I have a very sophisticated palate, so it's nothing against you people. It's just I'm just really out there. I'm just really that great.
But just the palate just can't tolerate eggs.
Yeah, eggs I can't do. Honestly, I think eggs are for the weak. I think eggs are for the people that are like, you know what, I'm going to take the easy way out for my protein. Me personally, I woke up and had breakfast yesterday, Jess. What did I have for breakfast?
You had salmon.
I did. That is a true protein.
And not lox, like salmon I cooked the night before.
And how easy is that? You just open it up, you eat it out of the container. I will say skin from salmon the next day, a little gross. Still
super gross.
Still ate it. A little gelatiny. But still ate it because I need the omega-3. I'm a big omega-3 guy.
Yeah, you got your protein
vision.
in. That has nothing to do with your vision. But
yeah, are you sure?
Pretty sure.
Jess, I do have a food podcast.
Okay, I do have a master's in nutrition.
Fair enough.
Yeah, no, it is gross like that.
Okay.
But no, you will eat anything for breakfast. Truly anything.
Yeah, I don't like real breakfast foods.
We should do a month of breakfast foods.
I don't know, Jess. No, because I'll waste it all. But we can do a month of breakfast, but we can still get non-egg items.
Yeah, that's fine.
It doesn't have to be all eggs.
No. I'm thinking like French toast and pancakes and biscuits and gravy and whatever.
Well, my topics on today's list of topics, because I was organized, is now what for August?
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, it's a thought. We got bagels today. That was nice.
I was thinking maybe for August we could do shellfish month.
Oh, yes.
Do only shellfish.
Well, that's a really good as a pregnant lady to eat chain restaurant shellfish. That seems very safe. I
get it. I know what's up. I want to know what's best for my son. Now, breakfast is okay. Keep that on the docket, but we'll talk through it a little bit later.
Okay.
But I'm not settled on it.
I'm just feeling, because we never get breakfast. Take out or deliver anything, and we picked up breakfast this morning because we had visitors.
Yeah.
And
see, I'm not.
That was nice.
I'm not anti-breakfast per se. The problem is the breakfast stuff that I would like are the things that are unrealistic. I mean, I like waffles and chicken and pancakes and steak and eggs minus the eggs. Like, it's just...
Corned beef hash.
Corned beef hash.
That's a big one.
It's the eggs that make it difficult. Now, of course, we'd have to probably get some stuff that has eggs in it to make the month right, I guess, to do that. But we could probably work around it so at least it wasn't everything all the time. Just to make it more fun. And we've done a lot of pancakes from IHOP.
Yeah. No, it would be interesting to do like a French toast or waffle, or... We've not done any of that.
Yeah.
And we just got bagels today, which is easy and cheap. And
I'm in August. We'll do breakfast.
Okay, that was easy. Well, if we make it through August.
You mean because of your due date?
Yes.
Well, I mean, we might just be. We might be
reviewing these Starbucks French toast dippers in St. Barnabas Hospital.
We'll have to do something in the hospital.
Well, we can do something. I will review which ice chips are best from which dispenser.
That would be cute. You in the bed. Are you pushing?
Oh, no, let's not put that on there. Nope.
Jess delivers.
Nope. We're not getting that close.
All right, fair enough. All right, so we will do breakfast. We'll brainstorm. And on that note, if you have some items that you'd like us to try for August breakfast month on the Mike Delivers podcast, email me, MikeDeliversPod@gmail.com, or DM me, Mike Delivers Pod, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can meet me. You can't meet me, but you can. I feel like I've been off by a word or two on this podcast, but like I'm close. You can direct message me that way if you have any suggestions. If you're like, you got to get the Arby's scrambler with a side of hell on earth in it, or the Subway.
Subway has breakfast, don't they?
They probably have like eggy sandwiches. Ugh.
We can try to make it more palatable for you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, you can't. But truth be told, Jess, if you did breakfast month and everything was like an omelet, 2 eggs over easy, it'd be boring. You got to do like pancakes, waffles.
Do you want to know what I could actually do a month of, truthfully?
Are we changing it? Or are we making a zippity?
Breakfast potatoes only.
Yeah, that's too niche.
I love breakfast potatoes.
Too niche.
Dinner potato? Oh, I hate mashed potatoes.
We're gonna do a full month of breakfast potatoes, paprika seasoning. No, too far.
No, I'm just saying, hash browns, home briced, because everybody does it a little different. It's true.
Yeah.
Do you do peppers and onions? Is it in a patty? Is it on the griddle? I don't know. I could get into that.
Well, we could get potatoes on the side. I'm sure there's stuff that has it there.
Oh, wow. Okay, sorry.
Someone kick you?
Yeah, I just had a little tiny
and it wasn't me.
No, a tiny little foot sticking out.
If you haven't listened to this podcast, Jess is due. She's having a kid. I'm apparently involved. We'll see what happens.
You were involved at some point.
Yes. So, sex.
Yes.
So that was the little push you got.
Yes, I got a little tiny foot that keeps coming out of my right side.
I can't imagine what it feels like to have somebody in your stomach kicking you.
It's bizarre.
It's got to be weird. I know we're going to talk about seared ahi tuna on top of a roll from P.F Chang's in the Willowbrook Mall in Wayne, New Jersey. Best sushi's in Wayne. But it's got to feel weird to have somebody inside of you pushing to get out.
I can't even explain what it feels like, because it's not like you don't expect it when it starts.
Well, give your best description for all the men listening out there that are like, oh man, I eat a lot of food and I understand what a woman is feeling. I am getting it.
Do you ever get a muscle cramp? Have you ever had a cramp in your leg or something?
Yes, like a
and you feel
Charlie horse?
Yes, exactly. You feel it coming on, and it has an apex, and then it goes away.
Yeah.
It's like that, but not painful. It's like pressure. It's like you feel him pushing, then there's a roll, and he moves, and because he's just changing positions, and then it goes away. But then sometimes in the middle of the night, because he likes the middle of the night, he will do that, but repetitively. So it's just this wave of pressure.
It is too bad that because of, first of all, I should backtrack a little bit. There's way worse problems with the pandemic than what I'm about to say. So I get it. This is not really that big of a deal, but I think it would have been cool if we could have done food review from the hospital, like the cafeteria food.
Well, and I think we can get cafeteria food.
Okay.
That's what they said. We can get cafeteria food or Starbucks food.
I would love to do
cafeteria review. I think the cafeteria food might not be you get to go down there. I think what it is you do when you stay in a hotel and you get the little door hanger. You've never stayed in a hospital before. I've stayed in a hospital a bunch of times.
I have not.
They give you...
That's because I have no other kids. And I have no
never
injuries.
had surgery or anything.
No.
So they typically give you a little card for either the next day or the next meal, and you say like, I would like juice and coffee.
You fill it
and
out.
da-da-da-da.
Okay, like a hotel,
but
right.
You get to do it now because they don't want people in the hospital, in the cafeteria.
Right. Well, if it's breakfast in a cafeteria, I'm definitely like getting pancakes.
We're going to be there like
and
2 to 3
waffles.
days, so you're definitely
God.
going to be able to.
Is it weird that I'm a little excited for our trip to the hospital just because? No, this is completely true. I am so focused on work and shit all the time in this podcast. It sounds kind of nice that it's just going to be me and you kind of pushing.
Well, or me.
Or you pushing and just me being there. And we can like hang
watching
out.
the iPad.
And watching Boy Meets World episodes.
I do think it'll be nice. We don't, aside from this podcast, spend quality time together. We spend time to...
But it's just not good quality. I mean, you're just telling me, you're just saying, get on this. Never mind.
No, it's both of
No
us
jokes.
working, and we work off hours, so we work when the other person's not working. So, anyway, I think you can definitely do breakfast because we will have at least 1 or 2 or 3 breakfasts. We will easily have 2 or 3 breakfasts while we're there.
And I understand, I'm not a big breakfast person, but I could understand going into a place that's not a great restaurant, like, I don't know, a cafeteria at a hospital, and being more secure with eating breakfast because it's more of a bland taste, and not being like if somebody went, and I get this, I don't like eggs, but I could understand if somebody said, okay, here are your 2 options at a hospital. Eggs with a side of toast and some frozen hash browns, or we've got the duck l'orange tonight. How would you like that prepared? I get it.
As somebody who is...
I'd pick the duck,
clearly
but
not.
I get it.
Yeah, no, your options are going to be like cream of wheat, a tiny box of Fruit Loops, or a pancake. Like, this is not going to be...
We do have to be careful in seafood. In breakfast month, we don't end up doing instant oatmeal with the Quaker oatmeal. Like, we got to be more picky with that.
Well, that, like, honestly probably would be what I'd order in a hospital.
No,
breakfast.
yeah. No, I'm just saying overall.
But we're not doing that at, like, IHOP. Yeah.
Yeah, no, at IHOP, you got to get, like...
So, I love oatmeal. So,
yeah, but I don't know if oatmeal works on a food podcast. It was creamy.
No, I think you need to do, like, a fun French toast or something like that.
And today was what? Christmas in July?
Christmas in July.
You didn't get the gelato you wanted.
The baby and I have had enough gelato for the entire month of July this
Never
weekend.
enough.
We had cornbread gelato yesterday.
Which was fantastic. Blueberry cornbread.
Blueberry honey cornbread.
Oh, I didn't know there was honey in there.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yes, we've eaten a lot of gelato over the last 3 days. So we're good. We are...
I thought you were going to keep the train going.
I don't love Christmas flavors either, I have to be honest. Like a gingerbread. It's not really my thing.
More of a fall profile?
I like a fall. I think I like the summer the best. Something tutti fruity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tutti frutti. All right, so on today's episode, we had some sushi from P.F Chang's. We'll go 2 different angles. First, your sushi experience, then we'll get into your P.F Chang experience, and then we'll get into the Seafood Month finale. What did I say first? P.F Chang? No, sushi experience.
Okay, so my sushi...
What's your sushi experience? How old are you?
I'm going to say... I think this is going to be embarrassing.
How old you are?
Yeah.
Why is that embarrassing?
I think I was 18.
No, I was saying, how old are you now?
Oh, I'm 34.
I was like, why is that embarrassing? That's your age.
I'm 34 now.
Okay, let's pretend I'm Barbara Walters. We're going to make this like a really tough interview.
Could you be Regis?
Don't
I
say
miss
that.
him.
I'm going to be I'm going to be Babs. I know.
Okay.
Rest in peace, Regis, 88. Beautiful life. We're going to do a really tough interview. Ready?
Okay.
It's now time for the Mike Delivers News, where they're going in depth on Jess's sushi experience. Here's your host, Mike Biseglia. Thank you. All right, Jess. Welcome to the podcast to talk a little bit about sushi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing well. So, in the previous interview, you said you were 34 years old. The first time you had sushi.
I think I was 18. I have to be honest, a little foggy, but I definitely started eating it regularly around then.
Okay, and by sushi, do you mean raw fish?
Yes, I do. And the sushi rolls in general.
Okay, so at 18, had you heard about it previous to 18, or was it the first time you heard about it? You lived in Pittsburgh, which is not the Mecca sushi capital of the world. I know there's a lot of people out there being like, man, if I'm going to get sushi, there's 3 places: Detroit, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh. So I get it. But how did you learn about this experience? And I don't remember my original question. But anyway,
I'll
sushi.
answer it
Go,
anyway.
Go.
So they had it in the dining halls at school.
Okay, so you were in college eating sushi in a dining hall.
Remember, I was
Pittsburgh.
I was a reasonable age when I went to college.
No wonder you think the sushi's here is so good.
No.
No, I'm serious.
No, as I said my beginnings are rough here. So it was in.
Is the tuna?
I can't even get anything out. Jesus Christ!
I can't help myself.
So they had it in the dining halls, and a lot of people were eating it, and I was like, okay. And then like when you would always go home from school and you would meet up with your high school friends.
Okay.
I got in this routine with my friend Andrew Kachurka, and we would go for sushi.
Mm.
And he kind of showed me the ropes. Like, we would meet up whenever we were home from college, for the summer, for break, whatever. And we just tried to, there's not that many, especially in the town we lived in, there's basically one place. And everybody knows that.
Right.
Little Tokyo.
Right, that was...
And it actually is pretty great sushi for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's good.
There's a place in the south side called Nakama where we actually went for my college graduation as well. That's more that hibachi style situation, but it's really expensive for Pittsburgh sushi. Probably not really expensive for New Jersey sushi, but then I just got into it from there, and I'm a big sushi eater, not pregnant.
Right.
That has been weird. I've gotten a couple when I was like in the beginning. You're like a little nauseous. Well, some people are really nauseous. I was just a little nauseous. I got into. I did it a couple of times. Got like veggie rolls, but other than that, I really haven't had it because it's not as fun.
Yeah. But
my real sushi journey has become that my parents got into it, which that's a question for them. Because I grew up being told that, if you eat sushi, you're gonna get, you're gonna black out with mercury poisoning.
And I get that. Look how in Japan, those people,
they're almost all dead.
Every day, like, oh no, let's just
so much fish diarrhea.
But we're gonna die, and our ancestors have done this forever.
I know, so their ancestors live the longest. But anyway, somehow, and I think it was my dad's, one of his 75 brothers, got him into sushi, and now we do sushi for Christmas Eve almost every year. We go and we do the boats and everything like that. It's a full-throated sushi situation. So that's one side of it. That my family's really into sushi now. So anytime we go there, we tend to get it. And also when I travel for work, and I know it's sushi, but it is consistent. So I will often do like a Whole Foods sushi or something like that. And it's just reliable. It's easy. You can grab it on your way to the hotel. None of this stuff I do anymore. This is a regular part of my life for the last 7 years, but not anything I do anymore. But sometimes I would let's say I drive to Rochester and I just swing by Wegmans and get a bunch of sushi and take it to my hotel room. So that's my sushi journey. It is a staple in my life at this point.
Are there rolls you won't eat? Or fishes you won't eat?
I don't love it. You know this. I don't love a tempura roll, and I don't love something with...
I'm talking about fish.
Cream cheese.
How about fish?
I prefer anything with salmon and tuna. That's going to be my go-to.
How outrageous would you go with stuff that's not like... I don't want to say American sushi, but stuff that we aren't as aware with.
Your dad and I ate these... Was it quail eggs one time?
It was good?
Yeah, that was... I think, if it's in a fish, I don't love super fatty tuna. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. That I don't love. Other than that, if it's, in the fish fillet family, you know what I mean? Anything that could be sashimi, I'm cool with. When the texture starts getting a little weird, I'm like, eh. But I'll do eel and...
My first time experience with tuna... I don't know exactly how old I was. I'm going to sound like such a dick. I think I was 12.
Okay, lobster boy.
Or 14. I think it was 14. I don't know. I was youngish. And I remember going to I was my cousin Danny and my aunt Sorky, and we went to a sushi place. And I did not know what sushi was. I guess I was
What, geographically, where were you?
New York City.
Okay.
Manhattan. And I remember them ordering, we're going to get tuna rolls. And I didn't know what that meant.
Were you picturing like a tuna sandwich on a bun?
I don't know, probably. But the thing about me, and you get to know me, is I don't like to make people upset or angry at me. So sometimes I go with the flow too much, where then I put myself in a position where I'm like, oh boy, now I'm fucked because I went too far. So I'll always just say yes to anybody, even if it's something I don't want to do.
No, and then you just resent them and hold it in for a long time.
Exactly.
Yep.
Now you know
it's
me.
It's fun.
Great personality. So the thing they got was tuna. And then I was like, yeah, let's eat it. And then I remember it coming to me.
What, we were going to a restaurant where you at? Sorry.
It was a Japanese,
okay.
Japanese restaurant in Manhattan, like just your typical sushi place in New York City.
Okay.
Small, walk in, sushi bar, couple of tables in the back.
Yes, it could have been anywhere.
Probably the Upper West Side. Who are we kidding? So I remember getting it and then being like totally freaked out, but I ate it. And I fell in love with it right there. And I ate sushi ever since. Okay. And then my next memory was, I remember that, like, I don't know if it was that night or sometime in the future at my aunt's house. They had a block of tuna, and they were scraping it off like it was...
What the hell?
Gyro meat.
That is crazy. I do have to say...
I love it.
This is on a bucket list for me that we've never done, and I think we've talked about it many, many times. I remember we were training for half marathon talking about this, which was... a long time ago. We used to do half marathons. We don't do those anymore.
I think I could do one now.
I could not.
I could do it.
I could half marathon on my little Peloton, not go anywhere.
To be cute, you and the cat.
Yeah.
I could do it. I could do it right now.
I can't run right now.
I busted my shoe open, but I could do it.
Yeah, you can do it after your new shoes come. So, anyway, what were we talking about? We were talking about sushi. I want to make it. I want to get ahi grade or whatever, sushi grade fish. I want to do the rice. I want to do the vinegar. I want to roll them up. I want to do that.
It's the best kind of rice I've ever had.
Yes.
And I'm a rice connoisseur. I love all rice.
I've spent a lot of time reading on this. That's like the hardest part is getting the rice
The right consistency.
Yes.
Yeah, because if you've ever had sushi and the rice isn't good, it's appalling.
In all honesty, what I think we should do, I really do want to try it. And you know what would be perfect is that Japanese market in Edgewater. Yeah, you could get the fish there. But I think we should do like a practice run with like
carrots.
Avocado roll or something like that. Yeah, exactly.
So we don't waste the fish.
Exactly. Yeah. Just because I think the rolling and everything would be challenging. I understand
that. No, that's a great market in Edgewater.
There's this great like Asian market that you can get. You can literally get like a container that says like tuna. Sashimi grade salmon on it. And we've cooked it before. Or like I pan-seared it and we sliced it up. Yeah, it was really good. But I do want to make it so bad.
My second sushi memory is I went into the city and I had a date with my mom.
Aww.
And we went to a sushi place. I don't remember the name. I'll have to text her and find out. And they had something on the menu I'd never tried before. And this is like 15-year-old Mike. Raw shrimp. Fantastic.
Can you always eat raw shrimp, or is it only under certain
I think it's under certain circumstances.
Okay.
I don't think it's got to be prepared a specific way. But, like, I love raw seafood. I just think it's so good. Even, like, raw clams, oysters I know you like. But I think raw food... Actually, let me ask you this. How is it you can eat raw fish?
It has to be... There's a certain, like, preparation that has to take place. Like, it has to be flash frozen, or it has to be, like, freshly caught and treated a certain way. The fish seems to me weirdly enough dicier than the bivalves, like the mussels and clams and oysters, because those you can tap to see if they behave a certain way.
So then what makes a raw clam edible and not some others?
I don't know.
Like a raw, do you like raw clams?
I prefer oysters by a significant margin, but if all I have are clams, I'll have a clam.
Yeah.
But if we get like half and half, I just want to do oysters.
I like the clams more. Oh my god,
that sounds so good. I definitely cannot have those until... Can we have those after the baby? Yes. Here's what I want.
At the hospital. We'll have them.
Okay, please bring those in.
Those and pancakes.
I want a glass of rosé.
Yeah.
And I want a dozen oysters with all the trimmings. The mignonette, the
Is there
lemon.
a place we could do that here?
Halcyon?
Halcyon, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if...
I don't know if I want delivery oyster, but maybe once the day we're back or something like that.
I mean, we could probably do it. Hear me coming with a bucket. Ugh.
That just sounds so... That's such a summery thing, and I've missed all of that, fun eating time. That sounds really good. But no, I don't know enough on this, on the specifics, but there are grades. That's why that's why you get whole food salmon, and that's going to be cooked, and you can get other salmon, and that is sashimi grade.
Yeah, it's interesting because it's like at some point that was somebody swimming that had a kid and wife.
It's kind of like how things are kosher, though. It's the same thing, really, but it's treated a certain way.
Right.
So...
Right.
So they get that label.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So be nice to your salmons. Massage them, pet them. All right. How about P.F. Chang memories? Going down that avenue.
Okay, so...
And I won't give you the Barbara Walters treatment on this.
P.F. Chang's was the last airport adult beverage that I have consumed. Pre-COVID. I know, you look perplexed. Pre-COVID, pre-pregnancy.
Where?
Detroit.
You were in the Detroit airport?
Well, my company is out there, so I've been in it a lot this year.
Didn't know that.
Well, it's in Ann Arbor, but...
Oh, that I know.
Yeah, I mean, the Ann Arbor airport is the smaller than our house.
I've been to the Ann Arbor airport.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy. Where'd you get a flight in from?
Syracuse.
Oh, okay. You and... Was it Mike Tirico? I feel like he's the only person who flies in
Ross
and out of there.
I went to visit Ross to see him at Michigan.
Is that a direct flight from Syracuse?
Yeah.
That's bizarre.
I mean, it kind of makes sense if it's like college sports.
I guess so. But
I think it was... let me backtrack. I mean, I definitely left Syracuse. I didn't drive to New York. It had to have been direct.
It could be.
You know what? It may have been to Detroit and we drove.
It's only...
You know what? I don't remember. It could have been to Detroit.
Well, the Detroit
and then Ross
airport is huge.
How far is Detroit to Michigan?
35 minutes, 40 minutes.
It could have been to Detroit, to be fair.
Okay, the first time I went, it was 2 hours because there was 4 car accidents.
I just don't remember.
I don't know. People drive like maniacs there. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I was at my training. My they take you in for a hi. Okay, you're not a serial killer. Sign your HR paperwork, and then they bring you. But that's a day or two. Then they bring you back for a week of intense training.
Yeah, and
they do this at every company. They're like, training will be done around 4. Make sure your flight isn't before 6 or 7. Whatever. So you have time to get to the airport and check in. It's always done at noon. 100% of the time. It is... I taught these trainings for 5 years at my old company. It's always done. You're burned out. They're burned out. Everybody wants to go home. So then you're sitting in an airport on a Friday night for 6 or 7 hours.
Yeah.
So... This girl who is the rep in Seattle and I, we just went to P.F. Chang's and we sat for a long time.
What did you have?
I had 2 vodka martinis with a twist of lemon.
So there was no food there. It was just the drink.
Oh, she ate.
What did she have?
She had... I know what she had. You're going to be judgy. What do you think is something that you would order that you'd be judgy about?
Well, I don't think I would. I don't think I'd be judgy. Sesame chicken.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't be judgy. I like sesame chicken.
Yeah,
I know your answer. That was funny though.
It was but here's the thing I have to say. It was a great bar situation.
Yeah,
excellent bar. Excellent bar.
It sounds fun.
Yeah, it actually was. Really...
I love airport bars.
Oh, I know.
It's my favorite thing in the world. I'll go to an airport 8 hours early. Let's get a meal at the airport and some drink. This is so much fun.
Detroit has a really nice airport, actually. Really, really nice.
It's a good one.
More... Reminds me... It's like Newark and O'Hare had a baby. I
don't know O'Hare.
It's really, really huge, so it's like that, but it has the cleanliness of Newark, which people who are listening to this who have been in Newark recently are like, what are you talking about?
The Newark airport is cleanly? Are you
The Newark airport is the cleanest airport. But yeah, so anyway. So that was my most recent P.F. Chang's. Prior to that...
I was going to say, what about actually eating at P.F. Chang's and not boozing before your flight? I didn't expect your answer to be, it was an airport. Martini. It was a vodka martini. Oh yeah, P.F. Chang's is known for their vodka martinis. I got that in a hot and sour soup.
No. So where I really went in deep on P.F. Chang's, and I don't know if you recall this at all. This was in our first place in Long Island when I was going to Boston all the time for work. We would stay in the Back Bay area, and there was a P.F. Chang's there, and I was I just walked to that P.F. Chang's all the damn time. I would either get some type of stir fry or I would get the lettuce wraps as my meal. I got really into P.F. Chang's during that period of time. So that, I guess it was later in life for me. I didn't really have it before that.
My first P.F. Chang's memory would be when my family lived in New Jersey and we were in that Edgewater area for a little bit. There was a P.F. Chang's in that spot. It's like a high-end chain spots, and I remember having P.F. Chang's there. I remember when P.F. Chang's came out, it was like really exciting. It was kind of fun.
That came up on the radio show I listened to this week.
It was just fun.
Because they were talking about who's that football owner that's obsessed with P.F. Chang's.
Al Davis.
Yes. Or no, his kid.
Yeah, I'm spacing, but the Raiders owner.
Yes. He was talking about, he had some quote about P.F. Chang's this week.
I remember. It's funny you say that. So a guy I used to work with, a good friend of mine, Brian, he used to say, because he played for the Raiders, and he would say his owner loved it. Brian Jones. I played you there. But a guy I used to work with, his host on the radio show, his name was Brian Jones. He was in the NFL. He played for the Raiders. They remember saying his owner loved P.F. Chang's.
Apparently this guy really likes P.F. Chang's. I don't know what he said this week. Something along the lines of all the P.F. Chang's you can buy or something like that. Which maybe is where this all came from.
Where did P.F. Chang's start?
I have no idea. I probably should do some
be interested to know about it. I haven't sat down for P.F. Chang's.
What they were saying is, I guess it used to be it was a hot place.
It was. It used to be. I think before. Okay, so I pride myself on being Chinese food's my favorite food. It just is, hands down, not even a close number two. And I think as Chinese food has become more mainstream for people, I think P.F. Chang's was a novelty of this is something exquisite and unique. And the more as people have gotten accustomed to trying Chinese food, it's not as, elite anymore. So I think it's kind of lost its luster on that front. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I still like it.
I do too. It's fun.
I'm a food snob, and if we were stranded somewhere, and our only option is P.F. Chang's, I'm like, hell yeah.
Totally. I mean, pre-COVID, if someone said we're on the road, if we were spending the night on the road and we had restaurants to choose from, and there was a P.F. Chang's there, I'd be like,
that'd be
me, you, P.F. Chang's bar. You're not pregnant.
Some martinis.
Get a couple of dishes. Put on the Cardinals-Reds game that no one gives two flying fucks about. It'd be fun.
So it was founded in 1993.
That old.
By Paul Fleming, P.F., and Philip Chang.
Paul Fleming. Question.
Yes.
Does Paul Fleming then own the steakhouse called Fleming's?
Yes, he does. And Payway, which we tried when we were in Dallas.
Yes, which is like a fast food P.F.
Which is
Chang.
like a fast food. And that was actually a question that I had. He also owns Z Tejas Grill and Paul Martin American Grill.
There was a Fleming's in Edgewater. It's like a higher end than Outback, but not below a Ruth Chris. Okay. But more towards the Ruth Chris side.
Do you remember
I used to get the Fleming steak sandwich.
Do you remember the gift card that we used for Red Lobster? I thought I got that at Fleming's, but apparently not.
No, that's no.
I know it's not in the same family. So it started in 1993 as 4 restaurants, and it just they don't really go into its expansion. That's the interesting part. So, but it looks like 2003, 2004. Was when it started to expand. So that was 10 years. So, we were in college. Maybe that's why we don't have a lot of memories. I went to college in 2003.
Yeah, my P.F. Chang memories are kind of end of Syracuse, early post-life. So it's kind of hazy with the P.F. Chang memories.
No, I mean, honestly...
It's kind of weird.
I was really pumped to be... Wherever it's coming, they put us on these nice hotels in Boston, which is insane because they were $700 a day.
Yeah,
they weren't even that nice of hotels.
You were worth it.
I guess.
For a
I don't know. Yeah, well, with that per diem, they should have put us up in those hotels. Like $10 to live on a day. P.F. Chang's is perfect. So I would go and order and go grab it. But so that would be like, that was like 2013.
Okay.
That I would 2013, 2015 was when I was really in my P.F. Chang heyday. So I guess that kind of makes sense because I was like, were they around a really long time and we just didn't? It wasn't in our zeitgeist. Was there one in Charlottesville? I don't think so.
Was there one in Charlottesville? I don't remember.
There's one in Pittsburgh somewhere, but it's nowhere near anywhere we would ever go. So I would just say this, for some place I haven't been a lot, I feel very fond about it.
And then, Jess, I guess as P.F. Chang's has expanded, they have frozen food like you would have a Swanson dinner, correct?
Yeah, they were, so that's what I'm reading here. They were bought by ConAgra Food, which is like one of the big, like, frozen food manufacturers, you know, like French fries and frozen meals and everything. Have you ever had them?
Yes.
Were they any good?
They were good, but I don't remember loving it. I remember thinking this is fine, but I remember seeing it and being very excited.
Yeah, I guess this
But also, I think I saw the calories on them and got terrified.
Yes.
But it's also funny because I go to the restaurant and don't care, but I see it on the back of a box and a frozen meal that you have to put dehydrated in a microwave, and it says 710 on the back, and I have a fucking flip of shit.
Yeah, no, that is really interesting. Although I think they put it on the menu now, maybe because it's more. I think it's more than 20 restaurants in a chain. You have to put the calories on it.
And there's something like Houston's and Holston's that trick that.
Yeah, or no, not Holston's. That's the ice cream place down the street. That was in Sopranos.
Houston's.
Houston's and
Ghirardelli.
No, I don't remember.
Samsonite. It's right on the briefcase. No, I know.
Hillstone.
So can I ask you this though? Because you brought up the frozen thing, and that was a good one. Is it there? Like, is it basically just taking the box and putting it on something, and I'm getting what I'm getting, and I'm buying the box? But in reality, it's not that great.
Well, I think the question is that what you get when you go there?
See, I don't think... Right. I think it's more of it's better in the restaurant, and then you... Like, okay, who was the purveyor? It was something...
ConAgra.
I think ConAgra is finding some random shit, throwing the... They're like, all right, here's the deal.
You're probably right.
I'm ConAgra. I'm going to meet with the owner of P.F. Chang's. Hey, bro, we can make... Or girl. I don't know who owns. We can make this much money. Let me get your brand name. Let me put this. It won't be so bad that you'll be embarrassed, but it's not going to be your product and produce, but we're going to make millions of dollars together. I think it's more like that.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Try to guess.
It doesn't get great reviews.
I don't remember loving, because if I loved it, I probably would still be eating it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as long as they're doing it differently in the restaurant.
Which is so a shame.
It's not cheap, as we learned today. Those entrees are not cheap.
No, expensive.
They're like $30 for a steak entree there. Or like a Mongolian beef or something like that.
Yeah, that's just a lot of money.
That is a lot of money for a chain restaurant.
It is.
Like, that's like you're getting a steak at a regular restaurant.
I'm not opposed to chains. I actually think it's cool to go from chain restaurants. I'm not ordering from there, but I'm not anti there. But if I'm going to spend $30 on an item, like, for example, the dinner we got last night. Okay, so your parents ate with us. They were here. And your dad had scallops that were $29. But those scallops
were the size of hockey pucks,
and they were
perfectly
fantastic. So if you're going to get $32 fish from P.F. Chang's or $29 scallops from a local restaurant, I just have a hard time doing that.
I agree.
I like going, like, if you're going to go there and you get the $14 to $20 dish. But when you get in the 30s at P.F. Chang's,
I know.
I don't know.
I don't know. That's $30.
I mean, I'm sure if we got it. I'm sure if let's say, for example, we did that and not the sushi as the item to try, it's probably good. I don't know.
I do have an issue with an entree that hits $30 not being at a fancy place. And that number gets me for whatever reason.
It's weird. Right, that's weird.
I feel like, I don't know. Like a $28 salmon, not a problem. A $32 salmon,
a problem.
I feel weird about that. I feel like I am, this is over the top. This is too much.
No, I agree.
And I guess I'd rather give that to, like, a local business, you know?
Yeah.
Like, then... But by the same token, we're stuck we're on a road trip. We're on vacation.
Exactly.
We have P.F. Chang's. I am as happy as a clam, if that's our option.
Yes. Not raw clams.
Not raw.
Are clams happy? Where did that expression come from?
I don't know. That's a good one.
Clams. I'm like, oh, you don't want to meet mussel. That guy's depressed. But clam, guy's got it going on.
I actually like mussels better, I think. Oh. Ooh, watch the Dustbuster.
Yeah. You like mussels more?
Yeah.
That's fair. They're good.
They're just more. They're like a meal.
I had a bad mussel experience. Did I ever tell you about this?
Oh no.
It was at a Spanish restaurant, and we were at like a paella with different seafood in it. Yeah. And I bit into a mussel, and all this ink.
Oh no!
Out of it. So my face was all black. Like ink coming out of my mouth. There's no ink in there was something in there that made it black.
Badness.
So it was a bad mussel.
Yeah.
So that mussel made me not want to hustle for fish.
Were you able to...
I've still overcome it. Okay. It's not eggs.
I was going to say...
I'm not a monster.
No. Well, I love like mussels. You can dip the bread in it. But then again, see, I'm very seasonal. That to me, that is a winter meal. Some rosé, some raw oysters.
You can have mussels warm. You can have warm, or you can have it as a winter meal. A little paella.
I don't feel good about it as a summer meal.
Red sauce, little puttanesca.
I like mussels when you can dip the bread like in the sauce.
Yes.
Remember there was that mussel restaurant in Huntington, Long Island?
Did that go out of business?
No. We kept always thinking it was going to.
Where was that?
It was on the main street by Hanu. It's called Acacia.
Oh, yes.
And this restaurant had just like 15 to 20 types of mussles. You could be.
We ate there once.
Yeah, it was like we either.
I totally forgot about that.
It would be like here was like your red sauce mussels, your white wine mussels, your cream sauce mussels. Yeah. That's all they did.
I remember that place because you won't remember this. The first night I did the morning show with Gio and Jones. It was a Friday. We did the first show. That Friday night, we went for a drink.
Okay.
It was at Acacia.
Oh, it's closed.
Is it really?
Yeah. It closed in 2018.
I'm not surprised. Like, that's like...
It's quite a premise to build an entire
But I mean,
restaurant.
if you think about it, like you sound like, oh, we're going to make great mussels and people in this area love it. But there was something about that place that was
what always bothered me about it is it smelled like industrial cleaning supplies in there. It was so strong. I don't know if that was to like try to cut the seafood smell.
But I don't know. I think ultimately too, like in this area, if the food's good, people go back. If the food's not good, they're not going to.
Yeah, it lasted a long time. That was, 2018. We moved out of there in 2016. It had been there for a couple of years.
We have to do an episode at some point. Maybe it could be a Patreon episode. Just about our Long Island experience. I just forgot about it.
Yeah, and it was like 5 years. The other day you were like, we lived there for 2 years. I'm like, no, we lived there for 5 years.
We didn't, no, 4.
4.5.
4.
Nope.
Not 5.
4.5.
How long have we been in Jersey then? Almost 4 years?
It was 4 years, June 16th.
So you're saying we were in Long Island as long as New Jersey?
We were there longer than right now.
I just don't remember those years at all.
You were in a real vortex of anxiety.
In my life. I mean, anxieties are real. I don't know. Now I'm getting anxious thinking about Long Island. Let's go on to the food review.
All right,
if you listen to this podcast, you know how this fucker works. It's 3 categories: taste, heat factor, and takeout presentation. 0 to 10, it's out of RAV4s. 27 or 2007 or 2017. That's up to your preference. If you want to hear the story of how I crashed my wife's 2007 RAV4, head over to the Patreon and you can hear what was the start of 2020. What a year.
It started off with a bang or a crash bang.
Okay, so here we go. Anyway, 0 to 10, 0 RAV4 is the worst in 0.5 increments. 10 obviously the best, where you get perfection. Takeout presentation. It was the first time getting sushi, and it looked like something you'd see sushi in. I thought the rolls, so we'll say that. Like, imagine you get a, 3x7 container that has a plastic lid that pulls off. And the sushi itself was presented nicely. I don't know if it was the drive home, but the wasabi and the ginger got smooshed to the side. The rolls itself were nice looking. It was a California type roll with a piece of seared ahi tuna on top. Have we even talked about what we ate?
No.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign for this podcast. Come to the Mike Delivers podcast with Jess and Mike, where they review food, and all they talk about the whole time is everything but food. We got
we talk about food, but everything about the food we actually tried.
So anyway, back to the sushi. Back to the ball game, as Spitzy would say. The takeout presentation with that, it looked good. It looked like your typical generic sushi roll in a container. I go with a 6.5. Nothing I want to like we're gonna have a kid. Nothing I would want to tell my son about.
It looked to me, as a professional whole food sushi eater, it looked like the presentation they have there, which is a clear lid and a black bottom. Now, when we get sushi from a local restaurant, that's not what it comes in. You don't see the sushi. They put it in like the aluminum containers,
right?
With like a little like opaque top or something. So it looked like they planned on us taking it out, basically. Like this is a good go-to, like a to-go situation. So it was cute. I'm going to give it a 7.5.
All right, good score from you. A 7.5, very healthy, very honest. You're a good scorer there. I think you give a little better scores than I do typically. All right, heat factor. This is kind of like, Jess, there's no real heat factor here. It was, it was.
Well, was it the temperature you liked it? I think that's.
It was a little colder than I'd like. I thought.
Interesting.
Which got me thinking.
Which made me wonder if this was in like a case. Like how it.
It wasn't rolled there.
No. That it was rolled, but it was like there is a person at Whole Foods that makes this.
This is P.F Chang.
No, this is what I'm saying. Guy at Whole Foods comes in the morning. He makes a bunch of rolls throughout the day.
Oh, and he leaves.
And he like makes them. I'm just saying that like they're stacked up and ready to go.
Yeah.
Because those are chilled. That's why I think it might be.
I think that sushi was pre-prepared, and then they put the tuna on top. You just blew my mind. You son of a bitch. You just blew my mind. That definitely wasn't rolled live.
No, I don't think so either. And it was also the other thing. The rice was really tight. And I think that happens when it's cold. Like it's been congealed a
So
little
then
bit.
What happens if nobody goes and buys it?
They chef snack. They either have to pitch it legally, or they can have like people.
Where you can't save fish.
Yeah.
That'd be disgusting. You're right. It was cold. It was colder than I'd like. But at the same time, I'd rather have sushi that tasted like that than French fries that came and they were cold. You know what I mean? On a side note, I did a Wendy's order today, and the person got French fries, and they were sticking out of the top. And I was like, it's a pandemic. You can't do that. But I rolled up the bag and tucked it away and put it to the side. But I was like, that French fry was just there for the taking.
Does your car smell like French fries now? Because you just got it clean.
No, nobody tipped today too,
That
which
sucks.
is weird. Let me double check that.
They're too hot and crabby. Well, I made French fries, frozen French fries on Friday night, and we tried Aldi's for the first time. New grocery store shout out, and man, I made them myself. I cooked them way longer than you're supposed to because frozen fries always have the wrong instructions on it. Yeah. They were really, really good. They were seasoned straight fries. They were cold in like 4 minutes. And they went from the dining room to the kitchen, which is like, I don't
French
know,
fries
35
suck,
paces.
Anyway, back to the fish. So it was a little bit cold for what I would like, but at the same time, I didn't dislike it. So this is a weird heat factor because it was colder than usual. The taste, I now kind of have more of an impact from the information you gave me because it wasn't freshly rolled, but it wasn't poorly coldness factored. So I'll go with an 8 for heat factor, which one this, it was a little colder than I'd like, but not enough to be like, this is bad. So I would take that for all. I guess the truth too is just the more and more deliveries we do, the more and more like something like that where I'm not thinking about it, it's going to get a better score just because it's not in my mind.
Yes. I'm going to say something that probably is very unpopular. Because I feel like sushi has there's a right way to eat sushi, and it's typically how the chef prepares it. Now, is this happening at P.F Chang's? Probably not. But if you go to like a fancy sushi restaurant, the chef they want you to have it the way they want to have it. Like if you go to a really fancy one where they put the wasabi in there for you, they're like, no, you're not getting wasabi and soy sauce. Like this is how it should be presented. That is not the situation, clearly. But one of the big things that I actually don't love is kind of that warmy room temperature rice. It's just a taste bud thing.
Oh, see, I don't mind. I like it warmy room temperature. I prefer it to cold.
I like the cold sushi.
I'm not saying I dislike it. I prefer.
I prefer the cold sushi, so I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Okay.
I always like cold-ish sushi. That's why I don't mind, like, sometimes we will pick up, like, a sushi, like a lunch special, and we'll just have it for dinner because they give you so much food. Yeah. I do not mind throwing it in the fridge, for a couple hours before eating it. I don't love when the rice is warm. I know that's, like, not correct, but it's true.
You're politically incorrect. Yours look very pretty tonight.
Oh, boy. I'm sure I do. Like a little cow.
Hey. You know me. I love cows. I do. I love a good cow. I do. You do. I like chickens, too. And shrimps. A little shrimp. Am I flirting on you on the podcast? I don't know. I
used to be a shrimp. Now I'm a cow.
Oh, stop it. They're both beautiful animals. Hey,
you do probably like them equally, so.
Hey, if you're the shrimp from Joe's Crab Shack, I'd rather be a cow from anywhere than there.
The shrimp dip? That was really bad. I know, it like kind of haunts me. It is like, I mentioned this last week. It's interesting to think back on the week of how much like...
Yeah. I've got a question for you to end the podcast too. All right. Taste then, going with this. The rice was a little cold for me. The crab inside was not like the typical kind of California roll I like. It was more of like a mayonnaise-y crab like combination, and then the tuna on top was seared nicely, placed on top. But you said it before, this thing was not rolled fresh. It was manufactured by the P.F Chang farm or whatever it came from. But, and I don't know, it's because we've had some really disgusting shit on this fucking podcast, that this was like, this is definitely one of the better things I ate. But if we were like to get put this in like a roll from like an authentic Japanese sushi house, I would be like, it wasn't even close. But the fact that I'm comparing this to sliders with cheese on them that were milked by my cat, that had 3 whiskeys deep, this fucking thing killed it. So I'm going with a 7. That wasn't exactly a good example of what I ate. It was more basically saying my cat drinks whiskey and milks things.
Which is confusing.
Odd. Anyway, a 7.
I am going to say that I thought the actual California roll was great, so instead of like, you're used to a crab stick, I think everybody knows this, like the crab stick that is like
with the avocado,
and the little, you can see, it looks like a stick that somebody cut in half, right? This crab situation was the same idea, like that flaky stringy crab, but definitely mixed with something creamy. Which I've seen before. I don't love that. If I've had it like that when it's real crab. That's great. This was imitation crab. So that was like, that I give a negative 0.4.
A 0.4?
A negative point for that.
I was like, I give it a negative 0.4. I'm like, real specific. Okay.
And then another point off for me was the ahi tuna, which now that the more we talk about it, was clearly laid way after the fact. I mean, it was barely on there. Like, we're talking like a bad toupee. Like, just like...
That's a good way to make $12.
On the top.
You know what I'm saying?
But I have to say, the ahi tuna I thought was really good. Like, the quality tasted amazing. And the roll, minus the creaminess, was fantastic. It was actually like a really good sushi roll.
Yeah.
But the thing was it wasn't cohesive. Like, usually when you get a wrapped sushi roll, like, it's like wrapped around it and you can pick it up and take it in a bite. You could not bite this because it was like 2 different things.
I've never had something from... This was the most contradictive dish we've had on this podcast, where I was like, this is fucking dumb. This is stupid. I like it. Yeah. Okay? But you know what I mean?
It was 2 things.
Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah. It was 2 things they lightly, like, touched together, and we're like, it's a thing! Yeah. So I'm going to say, first and foremost, I really liked it. 2 things we haven't talked about was it had these, like, spicy Crispies on it.
Yes.
And
the sauce.
It had a weird sauce on the side.
No soy sauce.
But it was the smallest container of... So imagine like a dressing container. Like you get dressing on the side. Just the bottom was covered.
Yeah, because that was some guy that had to pick up the squirt bottle and go... it sounded like a fart.
It was less than a teaspoon.
And he was just like, fuck this.
Well, I was wondering...
That's what that was.
What I was wondering was, in the restaurant, do they drizzle it on top? Probably.
Oh.
It was...
God, you blow my mind with your intelligence.
It was super spicy.
Yeah.
So the issue was... dipping it in was really spicy.
Yeah, I went too much with my dip, and when I dipped it, I was like, woo, spicy fuck.
Because it has like the essence of Kung Pao, I guess. It was really...
Oh,
so I don't...
Because
we both dunked it like it was soy sauce, and then it was like, oh no, just kidding.
And that's where we got played. We got played by Wayne, New Jersey, in the Middlebrook Mall.
So I'm going to give it... I'm going to give it a 9. I liked it. I'd order it again.
I know. You're the worst. You and your highest scores.
I would order that again. I was worried about... Have you ever had gross ahi tuna? Like, there's like a tang to it at the end. This was not that. It was good.
Okay, so those are the scores. Takeout presentation, 6.5 me, 7 for 7.5 Jess. Heat factor 8, Jess 8.5, taste 7, 9 for you. We are going to give some more information, but it's going to be on the Patreon page. What I want to talk about when we get to the Patreon page is we're going to do a Yum or Yuck, and I want to do your lasting memories of Seafood Month, what you'll remember most from the month.
Okay.
We'll get to that on the Patreon page, which, of course, you can get on Mike Delivers. Go to patreon.com. It's $4 a month, and it's really appreciated. We have a kid coming in 5 weeks, and, you know... the money would be nice.
Just put it out there.
Just put it out there, being honest.
Or if anyone needs any live imaging systems, give me a call.
Yeah, and those are like $4,000 a month.
They're like $120,000 to $150,000.
Okay, so you have an option here. You can either go with Jess and pay $150,000 for live imaging, or for $4 a month, you can see me try to put like... I just thought of a good thing for a blind food taste test.
Well, don't tell me.
I
guess you have to tell me, but then...
I gotta tell you. Penis gummies.
Or those...
Penises.
Those...
Here, Mike, here's a dick.
Those test tube gummies my old company used to make that look just like penis gummies.
Gummy cocks.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so anyway, you get
I get the pasta.
Jesus. Best thing you ate in the last 7 days.
Oh, boy.
You had a po' boy.
No, I said, oh, boy.
Oh, I think you said a po' boy.
I'm going to be honest. We've been eating good this week.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we have eaten very well. We've eaten a lot of meals out.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to say the best thing I had was, I feel like it just keeps coming up, the gelato from Apum Creamery.
Which one?
I was going to say the combo of the coconut milk sorbet.
Yeah, that was good.
And it was called Milky Dark Chocolate. So it was a little milk chocolate, a little dark chocolate. And that was gelato. So the one was sorbet, one was gelato. That combo was like special.
And I will say, this is good.
We did eat really good this week. We also had the cornbread gelato.
That was good.
Excellent. We had a lot of different pizzas.
I will say, mine will be the Fat Dom from Sparrows in Upper Montclair, New Jersey, which was all the Italian meats, fresh buffalo mozzarella, pesto on a balsamic. That was fantastic. On a seeded bun. Also very good was the pasta with sausage. God, I'm eating good. From Cafe Giotto, which I talk about on the previous episode with Frank Isola as his favorite place in Montclair.
That's my favorite place in Montclair,
which is awesome. By the way, I got to say this, and you haven't listened to it yet because it's not out yet, but you'll listen to my episode with Frank and you'll be like, I get this guy. I like his taste buds.
I'm gonna want to have a meal with him. I want Cafe Giotto is that's the meal I want when we come back from the baby.
Oh yeah,
like from the hospital.
Yeah, so the baby, me and the babe, we're going to get. I love the people, the staff there too, phenomenal. Yes. All right, so there's episode 96, closing in on 100 people. Thank you for downloading this podcast. Again, patreon.com if you want to check it out. The O'Brien Creative Group for my logo. If you need some logo enhancement, some help, they are the greatest. They are the best. Jessica.
Michael.
I love you.
I love you too.
And I'm going to make this a really awkward ending this week. So, yeah. Yeah.